the return of one of my favorite series. Welcome everyone to race number 1 of Season 2 of the NNSCRA Last of Us Lite series as we get set to go racing here for the season opener at Daytona International Speedway. The first of 10 races here this season, and we are getting set for a 30-car grid to roll off here today and take the green flag for the first time here in Season 2. Before we get started, just want to remind you, if you don't have a ride in the Coors Light Truck Series, Pizza Deck Series, Hershey's Cup Series, you are more than welcome to sign up for this series. There are still, I believe, a total of 10 rides available. Check down in the description below for the sign-up video. Head on over and sign up. We'll keep the sign-ups open all season long until the 40 rides are filled, but we start off the season nonetheless with the drivers that have signed up to this point, as on the pole position is going to be the 48. That is Logan Cloud. Alongside of him, the 46 of Patrick Smith. Now, we've got a number of drivers in this field that are making their debuts on the channel, not only just in this series, and there are other drivers that we've seen in previously the 3 main series, but they didn't get signed up this time, and so they are in this field. A couple of drivers that would fit that criteria include Ashlyn Boyd, who spent a good number of seasons in the Pizza Deck Series. You've also got Ryan Brommer. He was in the Truck Series last year. Michael Whitman, he was in the Truck Series last year. Patrick Smith also was in the Truck Series last year. And also Al Lagasee, who was a former Pizza Deck Series driver. So a couple of drivers here as we're going to get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
That have some previous experience in series on this channel, but we're going to have to see how they go up against a number of drivers that are making their debuts. You can check down the description below for your official starting lineup for today's event. 20 laps in total for this race. Frames should be a little bit better because we're not running a revamped Daytona. This is the in-game original Daytona, which is usually not as much of a frame killer. So I apologize for the fact that our season openers for the 3 main series were very laggy. I just don't know how to fix that problem. It always seems like Daytona, Talladega, there's so many custom MIPs that are put into some of those updated tracks. It just kills the frames, but nice and smooth right here for this series, so that's at least nice to see. Maybe we should have run the in-game Daytona for all 3 of the main series as well. Who knows? Now, this is basically, as I said, the second season of this series, but we are not going to have rookie points or anything like that. There are no Rookie of the Year honors. And with it being only 10 races in total, there are going to be no playoffs. It's basically whoever accumulates the most points at the conclusion of 10 races will be the champion. And I don't really know a whole lot about ARCA. I only usually watch the Daytona races for ARCA, sometimes the Talladega races. So I don't know who's a teammate to who drives for what team necessarily. So I'll just be basically, just going based off driver and not really off of team. I guess I'll maybe have like alliances for manufacturers, but aside from that, I don't have a really big knowledge of ARCA racing. So nonetheless, though, ready to go racing 20 laps here at Daytona. Let's get the second season of the Last of Us Lite series underway. Green flags in the air. Let's roll. Wide back there. That's for just inside the top 10, about the 9th position. As they're still side by side up here at the front. Logan Cloud and Patrick Smith still remaining side by side. Smith's going to get the outside line run though, thanks to the back straightaway being lined up there. Oh, they're 4 wide back there already. That is the 25 of J Vincent in a terrible spot. Are they going to let him back up? No, they're not. He's going to get hooked into the wall. And the caution's going to wave here already on lap number 1. Oh, and he just got hit from behind by Michael Canto, and they're still wrecking just after the start-finish line. And they're all piling in. There's the 0 of Dylan Farrell is involved. There's the car we saw in the middle of that 4 wide. Shane Vincent. Michael Canto right behind him. We saw him get into him. There's Tim Gary, the 3. Michael Whitman's involved in the 32, as well as the 55 of Chris Maley. On pit road, Nicholas Wade in the 2. And that didn't take long at all. We just barely were coming down to complete the first lap, and then the caution comes out. And Patrick Smith inherits the race lead over Ben Crouch and Aiden Shepard. Logan Cloud back to 4th, and Taylor Frey right now in 5th place. Let's see if anybody else was involved in the wreck that we didn't touch on. There's Vincent going by these guys. Ooh, easy. Whoa. Some damage there on the 57 of A Lagasee. I don't know if the 7 of P Onjack was involved or not. A lot of damage, as we saw before, on Dylan Farrell's machine. There could be some damage on Simon Bloomfield's 15 car, and a lot of damage as well on the 20 of R Brommer, that bright green number 20. Possible damage on Jake Smith. He's coming to pit road, as well as the 5 of Benjamin Breeg. He's also on pit lane. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of, I guess, the drivers that got caught up in the wreck and got some damage. There were a lot of them. A lot of drivers got involved in the initial wreck, that 4 wide situation heading to the tri-oval, and then that contact afterwards between Michael Canto and Shane Vincent caused even more mayhem and more drivers to get involved. So as Patrick Smith leads us under the caution for the first time today, let's look back at a replay of what happened out of turn number 4. Well, we pretty much saw it live, but let's take a look at it a little bit slower. And yeah, it looks like there might have been some contact right there between Griffin Lynn, the 41, and Shane Vincent, the 25, sent him up the racetrack right in front of Michael Whitman. There's nothing Whitman can do. There's some contact right there between Benjamin Breeg and who's that car way down there? It looks like that might be the 54 of Jake Smith. It may go down and get the inside safer barrier. Now let's look back here first at the 32 of Whitman, see who hits him. Oh, right there. There's the contact with Nicholas Wade and also the 55 of Chris Maley. I don't think the 3 of Tim Gary was involved at this point. I think he gets involved further up. Same for Dylan Farrell in the 0. Ooh, oh, there's contact right there for P Onjack, so he was involved. And also, the 22 didn't know he was involved, Philip Goldberg. He got involved there, getting into Michael Whitman. So then let's look further up here. And I don't think the 2 car had any engine damage. I think he got stuck right there in the transition from the apron to the racetrack. Couldn't get the car refired, and that's why he was sitting on pit road. So let's move up here to back up to the 25 of Vincent. And we kind of saw this happen live as well, but we're going to take a more in-depth look. See, he goes through the grass. Watch up above him. There's another car, the 52, just above him right now. He's going to go down low. He's trying to avoid R Brommer in the green machine there. And yeah, he kind of comes down. I don't know if Vincent was sliding up. Both of them make contact nonetheless. And that sends the 25 around and the 52 around. There you see where Simon Bloomfield gets involved in the 15. Ooh, nice avoidance right there by R Spurlytube, as well as the 9 of R Henne. But they go up and into the wall. Do Vincent and Canto, and also Bloomfield. And then the drivers that avoided the first wreck now are going to come flying in here, and there's where Tim Gary gets involved. Here comes Dylan Farrell. He's going to get a hit right there. Nice avoidance by Ashlyn Boyd and Marty Johnson on the inside line. Oh, and then up there on the high side, that's A Lagasee getting into Farrell. So we basically had a wreck, and then we had a follow-up wreck afterwards. And a number of drivers who were very lucky to get past the first incident got swept up in this second one. And very early on here at Daytona, we could have some drivers starting out their season not the way they wanted to, behind the wall in the garage. Green flag will come back out on lap 5 of 20. We'll have 50, or I'm sorry, on lap 6 of 20 rather, and we'll have 15 laps left to go. But a number of drivers already out of the race, 6 in total, including Shane Vincent, R Brommer, Dylan Farrell, Tim Gary, A Lagasee. And the 2 car of Nicholas Wade, I thought that that car was basically just sitting there because it was stuck on the track, but he has taken his car behind the wall, so it must have been much more serious than that. Maybe the car just couldn't refire and he's got some kind of a mechanical issue that took him out. So 24 of our original 30 cars are still running and still on the lead lap. A number of them probably are going to be somewhat off the pace, though, because some of those guys ended up having some pretty significant contact. But Patrick Smith is leading the way here over Ben Crouch. Third place, Aiden Shepard. Fourth place, our pole sitter, Logan Cloud. And right now, completing your top 10 is Taylor Frey. The rest of your, or I'm sorry, completing your top 5, rather, is Taylor Frey. The rest of your top 10 is going to be Alex Lozano in 6th, Griffin Lynn in 7th, who had a little bit of the initial contact for that first big wreck. 8th place right now is Jonathan Wong. 9th place is Kenny Johnson. And completing your top 10 is going to be Josh Drake. So we had our first initial 4 wide situation, and a lot of times that takes place because they're double wide and they get very anxious to go 3 wide, and sometimes that 3 wide gets into 4 wide situations. And the worst place to have it happen was where we had it happen here in the trial, maybe one of the most narrowest spots of this 2.5 mile super speedway. Green flag set to come back out. So now that we've got ourselves a single file restart, I don't know how anxious these drivers are going to be to try and get back into 3 wide, potentially 4 wide situations, but we're going to have to wait and see. As Patrick Smith was ready for that green flag, he's going to open up about a half a car length, maybe a full car length advantage between himself and Ben Crouch, which isn't normally a advised thing, because that leaves you out there and gives the opportunity for drivers behind you to get a big run, and usually when they get a big run, there's no way you have a chance of blocking it. Aiden Shepard got kicked to the high side with no friends, so he fell back to 4th, and now he's going to be on the outside potentially of a 3 wide situation. Nope, he gets let back in by, I think that was that Josh Drake let him back in? Logan Cloud started on the pole, fighting his way back to the front, but look at Aiden Shepard, talk about coming back. He got kicked to the high side, now back to the inside line, and he's going to lead that inside line as he's going to try and take the lead away from Patrick Smith. He's going to get alongside going into turn 1. Drafting help from the 37 of Jonathan Wong, and they will go 1-2. Robert Henne now up in the 3rd position while trying to battle for 3rd place as the battle for the lead is on. Jonathan Wong to the inside of Aiden Shepard. Patrick Smith has got Griffin Lynn on the top side with him, trying to get that outside line moving. Now he shifts lanes down to the inside. He'll go to the bottom for 2nd place on Shepard. Meanwhile, battle behind them for the 4th position, Robert Henne to the inside of Griffin Lynn. See a car back there has lost the draft. Actually, a few cars back here. That's Peter Onjack, 7, as well as 32, Michael Whitman. They were both caught up in the wreck. Simon Bloomfield, Michael Canto, and Philip Goldberg, they also were caught up in the wreck. Chris Maley also, along with Benjamin Breeg, they are both way back here. And there's the car that I saw losing the draft that I thought was up to speed, and that's Josh Drake in 66, who restarted in the top 10. 8 of J Hallec, just trying to hold on to the draft here. We've got roughly about, what, 16 drivers currently in this lead group? Yeah. Up front, it is still Jonathan Wong. He's got Aiden Shepard behind him, those two 1st and 2nd. Then you've got Alex Lozano, who's currently in the 3rd position. Then behind him, you got Taylor Frey in 4th, and right now the battle is on for 5th. There's Marty Johnson with a big run on the inside. Fellow Ford behind him and Logan Cloud. They're going to both get blocked by the 98, though, of Colton Yohe. Right now scored in the 6th position is Colton. And now Marty Johnson going to go to the inside. Marty Johnson, a former Truck Series driver in the Coors Light Truck Series under the name Marty Zakala, former Truck Series winner as well, now down here in the Last of Us Light Series. It looks like he will take the 6th position. Actually, that's the 5th position, with help from the 54 of Jake Smith, who apparently did not go down and hit that inside wall when we had that wreck. He was able to hang on to it, straighten it out, and not pancake the left side of his race car. So a nice piece of driving by him after he made contact with, I think it was Chris Maley. I think the two of them made contact and it shot his car down towards that inside wall off turn 4. Three-car breakaway at the front of the field. Jonathan Wong, Aiden Shepard, Alex Lozano, as we have just now reached the midway point of this race. Then you got another three-car contingency behind them with Taylor Frey, Marty Johnson, and Jake Smith. And then you've got Logan Cloud, the pole sitter, trying to lead the other group behind them. They have a lot more drivers in their group as well, but with these top three running single file, they're starting to gap themselves on the rest of the field who are running double wide. If they continue to do that, we may end up having it come down very quickly to just a three-car battle for this race win. And as soon as I say that, Taylor Frey and Marty Johnson have both gotten single file, and they are now starting to reel in this group. Actually, that's Marty Johnson and Logan Cloud, my apologies, in 4th and 5th place. Two of them are closing in very quickly. Big run for both of those Fords as they'll now make the move on Alex Lozano. That would be for the 3rd and 4th position. So we've got some two-car tandems going on here, the 37 and 11 and the 99-48. And just by visual view, it looks like the Fords are putting together much faster lap times. If you look at the 37 Jonathan Wong last time by, he ran a 45.040. Marty Johnson ran a 44.928, so definitely much, much faster. And these two have now caught up to the top two. Now look behind them, you've also got some other drivers that have caught up due to some two-car or three-car tandeming. Lozano now being reeled in by Patrick Smith, Robert Henne, and Jake Smith. This group also trying to do something, as you've got Kenny Johnson, as well as Ben Crouch, and I believe that is the 23 behind them. No, it's not the 23, that's the 28 rather, of R Spurlytube, who has maybe one of the most fun names for me to announce this year. Spurlytube. I mean, it just sounds, it makes you want to chuckle when you say it. Now drivers getting themselves into single file formation here. Another thing that I find kind of interesting that I didn't touch on, but it's a possibility, is are these drivers good to go the rest of the way on fuel? They went back green on lap 6, giving them 14 laps to go. And remember that in the Coors Light Truck Series race, as well as our Daytona 500, it was about 17 to 19 laps they could make it on fuel. Now this series runs with the CTS physics, so they could be right on the cusp of whether they can make it on fuel or not. So this could be a race that could come down to green flag pit stops. Battle for the lead is on. No, it's not. Aiden Shepard couldn't get enough of a run on Jonathan Wong. Has to tuck back in 2nd place. Marty Johnson, on the other hand, he's going to start fading back. He's going to fall back at least to 6th place, as Logan Cloud made the move on him, and Alex Lozano, Patrick Smith followed suit. And now Logan Cloud's going to get kicked out of line for 3rd place, as Lozano makes the move on him. And this is going to be interesting. We got slower cars up ahead. P Onjack, Michael Whitman, and Michael Canto all battling here for what would be the 22nd position. And they are, as you can see, right ahead of the race leaders. Oh my goodness, they are blocking up the entire racetrack. They got to find their way through this traffic. Jonathan Wong trying. Here comes Aiden Shepard trying to use the cars as a pick. Right now, the inside and outside line are both blocked up. Shepard is going to edge ahead just for the moment. Look at how the 7, after he got into this draft, look how quickly he's drafting with these guys. These guys might be up to speed. They just needed to have some drafting help, and this has brought a number of drivers right up into this pack as well now in the hunt for this win. Griffin Lynn is now up here. R Spurlytube is up here. Taylor Frey as well. First time we mentioned Ashland Boyd today. Only time we really talked about him was when he avoided that big wreck back on lap 1. Now he's up here in this group in the 14th position. They are 3 wide, 4 rows deep now here. And there's a mixture of drivers on the lead lap, a lap down on the tail end of the lead lap. This does not look like a happy situation, as it looks like Aiden Shepard's going to get away with the race lead. Looks like Lozano will probably move to 2nd. Smith to 3rd. That being Patrick Smith. Jake Smith moving into 4th. And 5th place now is going to be Kenny Johnson. Drivers up on that high line getting completely freight train, and one of them was Logan Cloud in the 48 as well as Jonathan Wong in the 37. They lost a ton of positions because of that traffic. Battle for the lead, and it's over as quickly as it was on. Patrick Smith will go back to the front. Jake Smith follows in line. He'll move to second. Laps ticking away very quickly here. Fortunately, we got out of that sticky situation, and there will be 3 laps to go as Patrick Smith hits the line. Jake Smith second. Here comes Griffin Lynn. Thinking about 3 wide into turn 1. There might have been some contact right there between the 41 and the 54. I think he forced his way to the inside, good Griffin. And now here comes the 28 of R Spurlytube. He's bringing Ashlyn Boyd along with him. All of a sudden, we're starting to see the Toyotas working up here to the front very quickly. Toyotas 1, 2, 3 on that inside line. Here comes Spurlytube to the inside line for the race lead. Ashlyn Boyd behind him, and Marty Johnson, who got kicked out of Line Freight Train. Now he's back on that inside line up inside the top 5. Can they make it to the checkers without wrecking? Only time will tell as Boyd gets kicked into the middle groove. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Who's going to open up the season with a trip to victory lane? Not the pole sitter Logan Cloud. You see the 48 way back there. He's not going to be able to catch up. Tough break for him as that slower traffic really cost him a shot at winning this race. Griffin Lynn to the lead. Marty Johnson in second. Ben Crouch now up to third. And here comes Johnson with a big run down the back straightaway. Can he get to the left rear quarter panel by the time they get to 3? Yes, he can. And right behind him is going to be the 9 of Robert Henne. The 43 of Alex Lozano right there as well. The white flag will be displayed this time. Marty Johnson trying to hang on. I think that might be a teammate behind him in Robert Henne. Those schemes look similar. No, one's a Ford, one's a Chevy. Never mind. I thought Henne might make a move to the inside, but no, he gets kicked to the middle. Alex Lozano goes to the bottom. That allows Marty Johnson for the moment to have a reprieve out in front. But watch the 43. He's got the 28 behind him. Will they produce enough speed for one of them to be able to try and take the lead going down here into 3? Will Lozano make a move on Marty Johnson? He's there, he's looking, Johnson goes down to block, can't do it. Here's Alex Lozano for the top position, and potentially the win here at Daytona. Out of turn 4, he clears, as Alex Lozano will come to the checkered flag. He will take the win here in the Lucas Oil 200, driven by General Tire. Lozano, a former Snickers Cup Series driver. That's right, Alex Lozano. I remember him back in the days of the Snickers Cup Series driving the #1 Bass Pro Shops car before it was taken in sole possession by Trent Dunham. And Lozano goes back to victory lane on this channel, taking the checkered flag in the first race of the second season of the Last of Us Lite series. The legendary 43 goes back to victory lane here at Daytona, and a big win for that team of Alex Lozano, a team that was up inside of the top 10 for pretty much the entirety of this race. Standing should be official as Lozano makes the move on Marty Johnson at just the right time, and nobody was able to get to his left rear quarter panel by the time they got out of turn 4 all the way down to the start-finish line in the tri-oval. R Spurlytube will finish the day out in second, Robert Henne third. Johnson fell back to 4th after leading us to the white flag, and Griffin Lynn will finish in the top 5 in the 5th position. Ben Crouch brings it home 6th, Jonathan Wong in 7th, Kenny Johnson 8th, Aiden Shepard 9th, and completing your top 10 was Taylor Frey. Then it was Ashlyn Boyd, Patrick Smith, Jake Smith, Logan Cloud, and Colton Yo, your top 15. Your top 20 were J Hallec, Josh Drake, Benjamin Breeg, Philip Goldberg, and Chris Maley. Last car to finish on the lead lap was the 15 of Simon Bloomfield. 3 cars finished off the lead lap: Michael Canto, P Onjack, and Michael Whitman. And out of the race after a wreck that took place on lap 1 were the cars of Shane Vincent, Ryan Brommer, Dylan Farrell, Tim Gary, Al Lagasee, and Nicholas Wade. So, certainly it's going to be some good momentum for the 43. Question is, can they keep the consistency up in their quest for a championship in the upcoming 9 races? Only time will tell, but certainly a good start and a 1 in the win column for the 43 team of Alex Lozano. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We have shown your full finish results, and these are your point standings headed to your next race of the Last of Us Lite series in 2 weeks at Chicagoland Speedway. But we got to finish out this race weekend. Pizza Hut Series and Hershey's Cup Series action come to you live in the desert at the newly reconfigured Phoenix International Raceway. You won't want to miss out on that. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the SRA Offline Racing at its best.